bass.
Welcome to another edition of Truth and Rhythm. This is the interview show that gets deep in the pocket with contemporary music's foremost masters of the groove. I am your host, Scott Dr. GX Goldfine. If you enjoy this programming, subscribe to the FUNKNSTUFF channel on YouTube, which is where Truth and Rhythm lives, and be an advocate by spreading the word among fellow funk, jazz, and R&B music lovers. Join Truth and Rhythm's membership program through Patreon. You can also submit a direct donation to the cause anytime at FUNKNSTUFF.net. At that site, you can also purchase the book Everything's on the One, The First Guide of Funk. Shop for official Truth and Rhythm and FUNKNSTUFF merchandise, and use the Amazon links for all of your online purchases, which allocates a percentage to this show. For those of you who go the extra step in supporting the show, you have my heartfelt gratitude for allowing us to continue to shine the light on those special artists whose quest is to find truth in rhythm. Hey, I hope you're all having a great summer. Welcome to this special edition of Truth and Rhythm, where I'm going to address fans and viewers directly about some changes that are happening. And change is a good thing. We've got to evolve, right? So, I'm announcing that I'm going on hiatus for the rest of the summer. This is the first time in 7 years since the show was launched in 2017 that I will have taken more than 2 weeks off. Usually for the holiday break, I'll take 2 weeks. Occasionally I travel and take a week off. But other than that, it's been a grind, a fun and passionate grind, but it's been a grind for over 7 straight years. So I thought this was a good time to look back at the show, the history, some highlights, and talk about what's going to be happening moving forward. So thank you for spending this time with me as always. So why did I start Truth and Rhythm? Well, I'll tell you. Music, and especially funk and rhythm music, has been a lifelong passion of mine ever since I was a little kid. And so I felt that a lot of the artists and creatives that are in this genre, especially funk, have been underserved by the mainstream media, and so I wanted to do what I could to shine a spotlight on those artists and give them their due, and also to preserve their legacies. In fact, the catchphrase or mission of the show, as stated, was to preserve the legacies of contemporary music's foremost masters of the groove. And so I feel that been pretty successful doing that. There's been a lot of challenges along the way, being a one-man band pretty much, producing, hosting, booking, editing, everything related to this program has been from yours truly as a labor of love and passion. Another aspect is that, we're not getting any younger, and I noticed that a lot of the great artists have been leaving us and have been passing on. And it was a very sad thing to me that so many of them had not had, representation of what they had accomplished during their careers. And so I wanted to make sure that that did not happen anymore. And so tried to reach out to as many of them as possible, all those that are still with us and have worked in the funk and rhythm music genres, to be able to join me and share their story for posterity, for the fans, for future generations. There's been a lot of wins along the way. Plenty of Rock and Roll Hall of Famers have been on the show, and heroes of mine that I never thought I would get to talk to directly have been on the show. So there's been a lot of thrills, but also, a lot of tribulations and trials. There's been about 350 episodes produced. Most of them are multi-part, usually 2 to 3, sometimes even 4 parts. And so there's been over 700 Truth and Rhythm segments produced. And for what you do see, there's at least double that you don't see in terms of so many artists that I reached out to. Some said they would do the show and then they flaked out or it fell through. Some just not able to track down, even though I've tried so hard for all these years. So, but I have the most heartfelt gratitude to you, the fans, the supporters, the viewers of this program. Thank you so much. And to those that have contributed through donations or purchasing things through the store on the FUNKNSTUFF.net website, or have bought the book that hopefully you've really enjoyed, Everything's on the One That First Got a Funk. I know that this is a very popular shirt, and I was looking at this before I came to do this taping, and I realized that there's only 2 artists on this whole shirt that have not been represented on the show. And again, not for lack of trying. The only 2 on here that have not been represented are the SOS Band and Chic. And I've certainly given them plenty of opportunities. Never say never. Maybe it will still happen. We'll see. Again, to the fans, there's over 14,000 subscribers worldwide, and there's been tens of millions of views of the show. Also downloads of the audio podcast, which is available from all podcast providers. The thing is, through all that, I feel that the purpose of the show has pretty much been met at this point. You know, at almost 350 shows, I've really touched on all those artists that I had hoped to, all those bands, you know, that are possible for me to do so. So, you know, I don't want to just go on and let the tail wag the dog, so to speak, and continue to produce programs with lesser people or people don't really fit the format that might diminish the series overall. And Truth and Rhythm is, you know, just so important to me and to my heart. I just don't want to, you know, diminish it. So with that, I feel that Truth and Rhythm has, for the most part, run its course. You know, in a lot of ways, it stopped being fun for me because of, you know, just so much time spent trying to track down further guests as that list has diminished. And then some of those that haven't been on are just very hard to reach. I feel very confident that if they knew what the show was, they saw it, they would definitely be willing and interested in being on, because there is no other program like Truth and Rhythm for these genres. That's just a fact. I'm just not going to chase them down any longer, you know. If they want to come forward and be on the show, or we run into each other or something like that, you know, that's fine. The list of stars that have not yet been on the show that I've reached out to is pretty long, but I just want to mention some of those names so you have an idea of who else I would like to have on the program. Certainly will welcome them if it becomes available to do them. So Stevie Wonder, Chaka Khan, Herbie Hancock, George Benson, Ray Parker, Quincy Jones, George Johnson of the Brothers Johnson, George Clinton, Bootsy Collins, Leon Silvers, Bob James, Tony Maiden from Rufus, Verdine White from Earth, Wind & Fire, Larry Blackman of Cameo, Nona Hendrix, Maceo Parker, Randy Moeller of Brass Construction, Larry Graham, Angela Winbush, Ronald Isley, Charlie Wilson, Eddie Levert Sr. of the OJs, O'Brien, Teddy Riley, Valerie Simpson, and that's just a sample. So if anyone within earshot of this has any leads on getting them on the program, please reach out and let me know. Moving forward, I do plan to leverage the amazing Truth and Rhythm catalog, doing enhancements to past shows, creating shorts and repackaging them in different ways, aggregating them together to do documentaries, probably using some of the interviews to produce more books. I'm going to look into syndicating the podcast, best of compilations, weekly archive classics. There's just so much, you know, almost 350 episodes of all these amazing artists is unlimited what can be done with it. And I just want to continue to share that and keep it fresh so that new generations, again, are exposed, and fans, old and new, can enjoy these great interviews and this treasure trove of funk
R&B, jazz, and a touch of hip-hop. Remember that the archives are available. Of course, there's a playlist on YouTube. You can get them from any podcast provider if you just want the audio. And then at the website at FUNKNSTUFF.net, there's the list on the site of all the shows, and they're listed numerically in order with links. So Chris Jasper of the Isley Brothers was number 1. And then you just go right on through, and this is a great resource for anybody. It's on the website, and that's in numerical order. There's also, you can go and look by guest. So if there's a particular artist that you want to see, you just go here, and these are all by guest. Taste of Honey, ADC Band, Al Jarreau, it goes on and on. Atlantic Star, Barkays, and so forth. So it's all there just for you folks. Now, the big news is, with the sunset of Truth and Rhythm, at least in terms of being a weekly show moving forward, I am excited to announce a brand new show. And so, in honor of that, I am taking off the trademark Truth and Rhythm Lakers cap and semi-retiring it for now. Of course, there will be Truth and Rhythm specials as warranted, but as a regular weekly show, again, Truth and Rhythm is on hiatus, or however you want to put it. So coming in October, the new show to the Funk and Stuff channel is Where'd You Get Your Funk From? Bam! That's right. Where'd you get your funk from? It's coming, folks. Whereas Truth and Rhythm was dedicated to preserving the legacies of contemporary music's foremost masters of the groove, Where'd You Get Your Funk From is more of an open format, focusing on the here and now, featuring a broader range of guests with interesting stories, experiences, and perspectives to share with y'all. Hosted by yours truly, this show opens the door to newer and independent musical acts of any genre, authors, filmmakers, actors, artists, collectors, and archivists, radio and podcast hosts and personalities, journalists, scholars, sound techs, promoters, photographers, and other creative and fascinating people. The approach with Where'd You Get Your Funk From will be less regimented. It'll be unscripted and minimally edited or enhanced. Some may be even streamed live. That's not all. The mix will also include former Truth and Rhythm guests in this new format. A common thread is that the first question will always be, where'd you get your funk from? This question is much deeper than it may first appear. The answer need not strictly be about funky music, as not everyone has found the funk in that sense. It could hit on whatever type of music touches their soul or pleasure centers. Secondly, the question can extend beyond music. Paraphrasing George Clinton, funk is whatever it needs to be to get you over the hump. So in that vein, guests may explain where they got their grit, their perseverance, their inspiration, their talent, their creativity, character, or other qualities that shape them into who they are today. Take yours truly, for example. So I grew up in a very musical household. My whole family, parents, and my one sister, very into music. And so my grandfather was also very deep into music, my father's father, and I got to spend a lot of time with him growing up. And he was also an audiophile. So I was able to bring my records as a kid and teen over to his house in Hollywood, California, and play them on his incredible audiophile system. Really high amplification, Macintosh speakers, just all the, high-end stuff. And I would blast through it, Ohio Players, Average White Band, Earth, Wind & Fire, Stevie Wonder. And he would just smirk because he didn't really get it, but he allowed me to do that. But anyway, so very musical family, so I got it from them. They were very diverse, too. And then when I was about 10 years old, we moved from San Fernando Valley to Santa Monica, which really changed my life. It was a pivotal move because where I had come from, it was not a diverse group of people at all. It was just all, suburban white folks. Moving to Santa Monica, I got my first exposure and immersion in people of color, and made friends with a lot of them. And in our class, I was in a class that was, I forget what they called it, but it was 4th through 6th grade. And so it was diverse in ages also. And on Fridays, the kids were allowed to bring in records, and we'd spend like an hour playing them and dancing. And so all the black kids brought in the records. They brought most of them. So I was exposed to, the Jackson 5 and Edwin Starr and, all this great Motown and other R&B and soul and funk music at that young age, and it just clicked for me. Shift forward a little bit to junior high, and one of my first friends, his name was Warren Brown, and he had an older brother who was in the service, and his older brother exposed him to people like the Ohio Players. And so I had won a certificate for $10 at the Warehouse Record Store in Santa Monica. And I had no idea what to get. So he told me this one was cool, and the first record I ever got because of that was Skin Tight by the Ohio Players. And I was forever hooked on funk. The second one I got was Mothership Connection by Parliament. So I became just completely immersed in it. Every dollar I got pretty much went towards music in one way or another, towards records, towards concerts. I tried to indoctrinate everybody I came in contact with that music, because to me, it was the greatest gift on this earth, was this unbelievable music. So I eventually became, the guy that brought the boombox everywhere and made the mixtapes and exposed people to that. Then I became a disc jockey in high school, doing parties and dances. I developed that into a mobile disc jockey company that was very successful in Los Angeles. And then I went into, I wanted to go into sound engineering, but I ended up getting into record promotion and PR and that side of it, because I have a gift for writing. So I worked for Black Red Exclusive and just, so many different things. I started up a record review show in the late 80s called Platter Chatter. It was like At the Movies, but for music. Quincy Jones almost picked it up, but it wasn't to be. And then ended up continuing on in media, doing reviews of records, and working on this book that was just such a labor of love. It took me 20 years or so to finally bring it to its final edition. This is a work of decades. And it's got memoirs in there too. It tells my story, a lot of what I'm sharing here with you now. So, went to hundreds of concerts, and heroes are George Clinton and Bootsy and Prince and Stevie Wonder. But I like rock too. Anything with like really hard groove, blues. That's what I love. And my sister, she when she was a teen, she's 6 years older than me. She started up Teeny Bopper magazine from her bedroom, and she eventually went on to work for Flip magazine and Tiger Beat and things like that back in the 70s. And then she went into record promotion, and she worked for Casablanca during their heyday, and Epic. So she ended up going into law. But I got that drive by seeing her do that. And so that's why I had started my own disc jockey company, and I started, Platter Chatter. I started this podcast, Truth and Rhythm. So, it was all inspiring to me. And my mom was a woman who, after she had kids, she went back to school and became a teacher. So I saw the drive in her, and she always supported and pushed me. And so, that's where I got my funk from. So guests coming up on the show, going to be asking you that, so be prepared. But that question, where'd you get your funk from, will serve as a springboard into candid, in-depth, and engrossing conversations. I am working on the production elements right now, as you can see some of them, like this backdrop and my shirt. And, I encourage you, this shirt is now available at the FUNKNSTUFF store, so you can get a jump on it. Again, the show's coming in October. Going to be a few weeks off, between. Great time to catch up on past Truth and Rhythm episodes. Another aspect of the Where'd You Get Your Funk From? The music theme is original music by Phil, the Funky Instrumentalist, or PTFI. So look forward to that. But a reminder, Truth and Rhythm is not done. Going to do specials as warranted. It's just, there are a lot of instances. Frankly, there were some Truth and Rhythms that were done with guests that would have been better served on the Where'd You Get Your Funk From format, but I didn't have it to work with yet. So there's a few of those. But, a lot of times guests want to talk more about what they're doing currently, a tour that they're on, a new book or a new album. So this show now will allow more focus on that. And also acts that maybe people haven't heard of before, but maybe they should. So I'm very excited about this new platform, and I'm reinvigorated by it. I hope you will be too. I'm really looking forward to it. Those interested in appearing on the show or wanting to suggest or request guests for Where'd You Get Your Funk From, contact me directly. There's plenty of ways to contact me. It's on the website. I don't think I'm in hiding. It's easy to get a hold of me, so please do. So with that, here's to new beginnings and Where'd You Get Your Funk From? Realizing Truth and Rhythm's success. As always, like, comment, share the content from the FUNKNSTUFF channel. Set your notifications so you never miss a video. And support the program. Donate through the FUNKNSTUFF.net website. Get a copy of the book, get a friend a copy, get 2 copies. Go to the store at FUNKNSTUFF.net, get shirts like this, but not just shirts like this. In fact, let me just show you real quick. When you go to the FUNKNSTUFF.net website, you'll see here, there's right here, soul and funk merchandise, but also right here, the store. And all you got to do is click on that. And here's the store. And you can get, Where'd You Get Your Funk From? Merch. And then all your favorite bands, Mother's Finest, War, Isley's, AC/DC, the shirt I was wearing earlier, which is the most popular shirt of all the funk bands from the 70s and 80s, Bloodstone, goes on and on, Truth and Rhythm, Prince, Talking Heads, just funk in general. So Shaka Khan, Herbie Hancock, Commodores, Bootsy. There's so much great stuff here. And a wide variety of shirts and hoodies and things like that, accessories, and, different colors. And the prices are fantastic. So please do that. It helps support this show, which otherwise is just funded out of my pocket. So I much appreciate that. With that, I thank you all so much again. If you're just getting caught up, the point of this was to let you know that I'm going into a hiatus until October, and taking the first time off in over 7 years of doing Truth and Rhythm. So it's high time. Truth and Rhythm is going to not be a weekly broadcast any longer. It's going to be as warranted, and it will continue to preserve the legacies of contemporary music's foremost masters of the groove. The new show, Where'd You Get Your Funk From? More open, more current, and a bigger variety, and less edited and produced and more off the cuff, is going to premiere in October. So look out for that. And in the meantime, catch up on the rich, deep Truth and Rhythm archives. Almost 350 shows, y'all. So, have you seen them all? You should. So with that, have a wonderful summer. And thank you again so much. And you all take good care of yourselves, okay? Health is everything. Dr. GX signing off for now. Peace. And funk. Always.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of Truth in Rhythm. A big thank you goes out to our guest as well as to you, the viewer and listener. Also, much gratitude to Pleasure for supplying the show's funky opening and closing music. As a reminder, you can always access the complete list of linked shows by episode at FUNKNSTUFF.net. I urge you to support this program and receive the extra benefits along with that by subscribing to the Funk and Stuff channel on YouTube and sharing it with funk, R&B, and jazz lovers, joining Truth and Rhythm's membership program at Patreon, submitting a donation at FUNKNSTUFF.net, buying Everything is on the One, the First Guide to Funk book at Amazon, shopping at the Funky Things store for cool merchandise at FUNKNSTUFF.net, and linking through FUNKNSTUFF.net for all of your Amazon purchases. In addition, if you're an artist or anyone seeking proven, results-oriented professional marketing, PR, writing, or editing consultation or production, check out the media services section at FUNKNSTUFF.net. Also, I encourage you to drop me a line at scottg@FUNKNSTUFF.net. I love the feedback, suggestions, guest requests, appearance and sponsorship inquiries, and just talking about my favorite subject, groove-based music. For now, and as always, this is Scott Dr. GX Goldfine saying, keep on vibing to the rhythm of the one.